Okay, here we go, and what you might call the and finally of this month's Stormbringers. And we're moving on to issue 22, and what we've got here is paints, which might not be exciting for everyone, but it definitely is something that I love. Now, got Avalanche Sunset, which I'm pretty certain I've got, but I don't have this one. So Griff Charger Grey, and this here is a contrast paint. So for those of you who've never used a contrast paint before, they're slightly runny, so they're not as thick as a regular paint, and they're designed to go over smoother and quicker. Quite often you find that you don't actually need as many coats of it, but what you can do is you can kind of thin it out even further to improve the add more coat and improve the quality. They're very useful for painting, oddly enough, colours that streak and don't cover very well. So anyone who's ever used something like a yellow paint, like this one, oddly enough, you can actually get very bad streakiness with yellows, with whites. You don't always get good coverage, and you feel like you are endlessly adding coat after coat to get it right. So contrast paints are sometimes also referred to as speed paints, and they're just basically for speeding up your painting. They make really great effects, but there's kind of like this myth going around on the internet that, oh, if you just use speed paints, if you use contrast paints, you're going to be an amazing painter in no time. It doesn't work like that, okay? Some of you might be lucky and have like skill from the get-go. You might have a stable hand and all of this. But for people like myself who spent years and years just getting good, I wouldn't have been able to pick up a speed paint and instantly do a good model. You've got to learn how to get the basics right. So that'll be quite interesting to go through and show the basics and how we do it. So I really do hope, to show you some more painting techniques quite soon. I'd love to see what colour you actually get with this Griff Charger Grey, because it's more of a blue colour, and a lot of what contrast paints, they change colour frequently depending on what base you use. So again, what base colour you use can affect them. I've put blue contrast down in the past. You put a yellow contrast on the top and you'll end up with green. So there's techniques that you have to go through to get this right. Anyway, let's move on to the issue itself. Nice cover actually. It's a kind of twisted creature. I'm not sure what faction this twisted creature belongs to. It looks undead, but there's a few undead factions, so it's not clear what one, which one it'll belong to. Okay, so what do we cover? Realm of Shadows, which is Ulug, so this kind of carries on from a previous one a little bit and covers the Daughters of Cain. So nice little bit. I'm glad they're expanding the lore on a particular faction. I can't recall if we even get that faction though in this. I don't think we do get that. I don't think Cain comes with this Stormbringer. Anyway, okay. And then you've also got the a little bit on the death and what happens in death. Again, you've got kind of, let's have a look, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, which is actually, they look quite creepy actually. It's almost like, they look like a kind of undead version of the Stormcasts, like they're a kind of mockery of them. Probably by Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Undead. Yeah, Nagash. I love Nagash. Nagash is an old world character, and he is awesome. I love Nagash. He's the god of the undead in Age of Sigmar, but he originally started out as a human in Khemri, the old world. He basically finds a group of chaos worshippers. I'm pretty certain that Nurgle, who deals with pestilence and decay, and basically steals their concept of magic, weaves it for himself, and starts bringing the dead back to life. He builds up an army. He basically tries to take over Khemri from the basically the pharaohs at the time. He builds a massive black pyramid in his own honor. He finally gets defeated, but then over time, twisted by magic, thousands of years of war, he obviously turns into, as he is in the Age of Sigmar. Interestingly, I'm pretty certain he's basically got this artifact called the Crown of Sorcery, and again, it's actually quite a lot of fun, the Crown of Sorcery. He loses it. I think Sigmar actually finds it in the old world when he's younger, and it almost takes him over. It then gets lost again, and then a long time later, an orc called Azag the Slaughterer picks it up, and again, Nagash is talking to him through it, and he's like completely, like an orc who suddenly has like super high intelligence. So it's really, Nagash is a core character across the old world and the Age of Sigmar. He's a legacy character like Sigmar, but he's older than Sigmar. He's so powerful, and he was the cause of, he basically caused the curse of the undead. He caused the vampires to come into existence as a result of his experiments. And obviously it's just fitting that he becomes the god of death in the Age of Sigmar. So, I love that link between the two, and that he's still there as such a major character. Oh, anyway, so yeah, gotta love that. Anyway, right, moves on a bit to talk about like giving your Stormcasts some kind of background. Same with your Cruel Boys, giving them a kind of background story. Now, talking about shading techniques, so how to use a shading brush. Again, that's quite good. I like that. Again, says how to use Skeleton Horde. Yeah, I think Skeleton Horde we got last time, wasn't it? The contrast. Let's have a look. Adding definition using shading. Yeah, and then let's have a look. I'm going to see if the actual Griffhound Grey gets used at any point in this. Lots of Avalanche Sunset use early on. Yeah, here we go. Griff Charger Grey gets used on some of the creatures, which is quite nice as well, so I like that. Okay, and then more core proper rules, really feeling like you're building up a real rule book now, and how to use it, how to use rulers, how to use dice properly. Yeah, building up a battlefield. And then, another little fight, and it feels more scenario based now. So it's vital intelligence. So yeah, we got some, quite interesting stuff going on there. I like this issue. I don't normally love paint issues sometimes, but this one's actually a really good issue. Now, what's coming up next time? So, Lord Aquila, interesting. So let's have a look here. He's on a very, very large, well, I'm not sure it's a Griffhound, it's probably something else, the actual creature itself, but he's riding it. So again, it's a good little creature, well, not a good little, it's a larger mount for a strong warrior. And then we're moving on with the Gloom to get the first of the Gloom Spire Gits, and that'll be a Loom boss. So again, getting the basically the goblinoid army, for want of a better word, coming along. So that's what's coming up, and I'm really excited to see those. Hopefully you've enjoyed my videos of me sort of opening all of these. I'll do the how to build videos as quickly as possible, and hopefully at some point between work get round to doing some painting and actually playing. I've been playing a few games, but I haven't recorded them, and I need to record them as soon as possible. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.